Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where it's about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Batwoman. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Obviously, the team is looking for Kate because, as Batwoman, Ryan was interrogating all the people who were working for the False Faces, trying to find out. Obviously, Black Mask Roman went underground, but it's like, where is Cersei / Kate? But they ultimately find her drinking, and it's like they're under the impression, like, right, we got Kate back. She's kind of confused about everything that's going on, so they don't know that she had a visit with Sophia and, well, quote-unquote, her dad. I thought, if anything, she was going to work with Sophia. I didn't expect her to, well, I guess it's like, regardless of everything, like, now that she knows the circumstances, like, right, Daddy, I love you, because you did so much for me, like, I died, but you made sure to bring me back, even if it is in Kate Kane's body. But to be fair, there's certain aspects of her life, it's kind of like, all that blah, 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 being Batwoman's hard thing, but I get to keep the bar when that's all said and done. It's like, right. So they're working with Sophia, and now they have access to the books, all of Kate's meticulous notes, as Luke kind of defined it. So now with that, they're going to have access to the Batcave, which I was like, what in the Batcave is going to benefit you? We get answers to that later on. Interestingly, well, let's go ahead and skip to it. I thought that was interesting, all the different, things. Like, I recognize some of the stuff. I'm assuming the top hat and everything, with, the 10/6, I was like, is that supposed to be Mad Hatter? I'd assume. The flower, at first, I was like, oh, that has to be, Poison Ivy, but then I was like, no. I was like, because immediately I'm like, anything plant related, but then seeing the other plant, I was like, that's Poison Ivy. The other plant has to be Joker. Because usually it's acid he puts in there, but I think he's had from time to time he's put his that laughing gas inside of it as well. So I was like, right. What was the other one? There was that buzzer, which I'm assuming is his buzzer as well. Then there was Bane's Venom. There was that other thing, which I'm assuming that was something from Mr. Freeze, and then Poison Ivy's. Once again, it's neat to also know what villains Bruce is. So a lot of his rogues gallery has been filled out in his continuity. So that's pretty dope to know that. At least even the ones we're not well versed in, some but it's nice to know some of the big names, the big hitters, this continuity's Bruce, the Arrowverse's Bruce this Earth / continuity's Bruce has dealt with them. So that's just kind of interesting, and that's always an interesting thing, where are we in the Batman canon in certain regards, because I've talked about it before, interestingly enough, he doesn't have any of the extended Bat family in this continuity, so it's interesting to know he got this far alone, essentially. But he had Luke and Alfred probably for a while, and Lucius as well. So obviously Luke took over for Lucius after he died, but so nevertheless, it's interesting, that aspect of it. But sadly, Ryan's the one that was kind of maybe we should take it slow, because we don't know when when she does wake up, if she's going to be herself, because considering every time we come across her, she's not known who she is, and then she kind of went full-blown Cersei. So but everyone else, it's no, we can get Kay back, especially Luke, because after everything she's faced, it's she's strong enough to make her way through this. No one wanted to doubt anything, because they wanted Kate back so bad. And it's after having so many peaks and valleys of when it came to Kate this season, to finally have her in front of them, it's we're just so close. We're so close to getting her back. So Mary actually goes to find Alice, but she doesn't bring Alice back because she sees Alice mourning Ocean. And I think for her, it's right, that pain that you're kind of numb and kind of don't want to feel it. It's yeah, I felt that before. You're the reason why I felt that. It's oh, you're here to glow. It's no, I would never wish that on anyone, not even you. That pain of losing someone you love like that. One, it can't do anything about it, because Mary's I can't do it. It's too late. Ocean's gone. And so I think also because Mary recognized, wow, because in moments like this, it's kind of what her dad was talking about. Right, you'll get to meet the real Beth, and for the first time, she gets to see the human side of Beth, because that's what Ocean represented. He represented her humanity. Despite everything, despite the everything that Enigma did to her, Ocean's the one that kind of brought that love back into her heart and made her human again. And we see all these other elements, her dad as well as Kate, started bringing out more and more of that human side of her, Because for her, it's actually interesting, because there's parallels you can draw between her and Ryan about the whole thing of right, when the good things happen in your life, they end up being taken away from you time and time again, especially for Ocean. Ocean was taken out of her life. They found each other. Things got complicated, but he came back, and they were good. They were going to make a future for themselves, and to lose him now forever. There's no getting him back now, potentially, you know? Granted, there are things in this universe that could help with that, but a lot of those, at least some of those things that we're aware of have been dealt with, like the Lazarus Pits. That was kind of dealt with in Arrow, so, but I mean, there's scientific things. I mean, it's Gotham. Bringing people back from the dead, not too out there. I mean, I don't think the Desert Rose can help in that regard because he's already gone, but who knows? And even if it does bring him back, who knows, like, if he'd come back the same. Obviously, coming back, we've seen in this universe, in this, in the Arrowverse, coming back from the dead, in particular with the Lazarus Pit, kind of changes you, and you're not, the same person, you went in, essentially, you know, so. But I think for Mary, it's like, oh, no, Kate's good, she's fine, because it's like because for Alice, it's like, trying to save my sister wasn't worth it in the end, because I lost everything because of it. So I think Mary just wanted to leave her to, it's like, right, I don't want to add to like what you're already going through. So I'm like, oh, Kate's fine, everything's actually great, because she sacrificed everything to get her sister back, and it's like to let her know, like, right, it didn't work. She didn't want to bring that on Alice at this point in time. So I wondered if she bring that up to the rest of the team when she came back about, like, right, not getting Alice involved. But once again, you have like Luke giving her the books, even giving her Kate's bike, Sophie dressing up, you know, trying to spark some memories. But yeah, at the same time, you have like Ryan leaving. And it's like packing up her stuff because, right, she always figured, I think in her mind, it's like, right, if Kate was alive, like, this was always temporary, and now even more so. Seeing everyone kind of fawn over her just makes her go, right, like, I'm going to have to give this back, even looking at the bat suit. Like, it was never mine, it was always on loan. But Sophie's like, the fact is, you became your own Batwoman. You found your way to save the city in your own way. You even helped, like, Kate would be proud. Like, for Ryan, it's like, the only person's approval she needs more so than anyone's is Kate's, because it's like, right, like this was her mission, and I'm the one that kind of temporarily took over, but this was always hers. And now that she's back, like, you know, I think for once she should have her place back at the loft again. And even Sophie's like, no, you can move in with me, but it's like, nah, I think it's for her. It just would have been a constant reminder of like, right, this life I've kind of built for myself, right? It's like, I ended up kind of slightly borrowing someone else's life temporarily. Now I have to give it back. At the same time, we find out about that it's not just the GCPD that Black Mask has under his thumb. He also he's recruiting former Crows, which I thought was interesting because he's trying to justify it by being like, yeah, like basically red tape got you in the way, like it got in the way of you doing what was necessary. I mean, you guys were fighting the fight. I'm sure these are the people, some of those are some of the Tavarov's boys, but I'm sure the others are just people who are like, no, we were doing good. And it's like, yeah, we got caught up in so much like red tape BS. It's time for us to do some actual good in this town, like without being held back. It is kind of interesting that you're deciding to work, but I guess also, I think this is more like not the good side of the crop. I think this is the bad seeds, not just Tavarov's boys. I think these are some of the other people too that were kind of like rogue elements amongst the Crows, just because it's like, I doubt like the full organization of the Crows is there, because it's like, right, you're still supporting a guy who's a crime boss. Like, how do you justify that? And in fact, this Tavarov had that look on his face. I was like, wow, are you reluctant? Because, like, you already crossed the line, you know, and you were a douchebag. But I was like, maybe in his mind, I was like, I might be a douchebag, but I'm not that much of a douchebag. It's like, right, I crossed the line, but maybe for him, this would have been too much of crossing the line. So I thought, like, oh, which in a way, it's like, well, that's still messed up that, like, oh, doing what you did to Luke wasn't enough to cross the line. But this is. But no, Tavarov's more self-interest is like, no, it's like, me being a cog in your machine, it just makes me feel like it's no different than working with, like, serving under Jacob. It's the same thing as serving under you. He's like, I get it. I like a man with ambition. You don't want to be a cog. How about you become the machine yourself? So I thought that was fascinating. I was like, oh, like, that's what it is. Self-preservation. Like, oh, I don't want to be a lackey anymore. I want to be big time. It's like, oh, so you're not having a change of heart. You're just like, oh, I want big time. I want to be my own man in this. And it's like, oh, so you're still the D-bag you were. I was like, oh, I thought there was like a glimmer of hope for you because everyone else kind of jumped at it, but you seem reluctant. But it's like, right, I'm reluctant because I don't want to go back to my like mundane position of being somebody's lackey, you know. So, Ryan was able to steal the computer from Roman's money guy. which I love that stylishly too. And it's just like, oh, the lights are off and everything. And the guy looks down and the laptop's going. I was like, how you managed to do that? I have no idea. But that was pretty bat-like. That's pretty sick. I didn't even have to beat him up or threaten him. It's like, nah, just snatched it. But granted, she doesn't have anyone to turn to help because everyone is just spawning over Kate. She's like, oh, right, can't wait to get back in a bat suit and help the city. And just that makes Ryan feel like, right. Because she feels alone again. Like, she's kind of back to square one with all of this because at least, like, she built up these bonds and everything over the course of the series. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Chester trying to find his own flow with Team Flash because, like, right, I don't really know you guys. She's come to know Team Batwoman, but it's also, right, OG Batwoman 1.0 is here, so, right, I have to give this all back. And so she moved into her van. She was like, nah, I got a place by the river. And it's like, she didn't want to admit she was moving back into her van, but she's like, right, I told them that they shouldn't rush Kate, but maybe the reason why I was saying that was because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to give this up because, you know, the good stuff in my life. But she's like, I know what you'd say, Mom. Like, the fact of the matter is, you have good, you've been doing some good work, and so continue to do good while you still have a chance. But lo and behold, the police pull up, and I'm like, what the hell is that about? And Ryan proceeds to get arrested. They take the laptop and everything. It's like, right, the books and everything probably explained, like, well, because some of those books included, well, I was about to say some of those books would, because I doubt, because we know Ryan has been taking notes too, but I doubt they took Ryan's notes. I mean, it could be stuff that Ryan found out in the Batcave, but it's also, right, Cersei's there, so she knows that Ryan's Batwoman and everything, so was able to spill that bean, so that's why they knew, like, oh, someone stole the laptop, Batwoman stole their laptop, damn. But Cersei's like, no, oh yeah, Ryan's Batwoman, so we know exactly where to go. All we have to do is track her. So they ultimately end up doing that and arresting her. But obviously, you know, she's having that conversation with Roman, which for him, he's actually kind of at first being like, we could actually join forces together, like, because he knows who Ryan is and just kind of how unfair the system is. And even Ryan's like, I understand why you do what you do. Like, the fact is, what happened to your daughter? She was assaulted. The crows covered up. She was even thrown into Arkham and she died. Like, I understand why you would do that. He was like murdered. But it's like, she's like, I understand more so than anyone wanting revenge for the person that you lost that died. Like, but the thing is, like, you're dishonoring her memory by doing this, you know? Which even he's immediately like, oh, I don't want to hear this from a 2-bit, like, drug person or something, which is BS. She was covering for Angelique, who used to be one of your employees at one point in time, so just shut up. But also, it's like, who the hell are you to judge, to look down on her? She's the hero in this situation, you're the villain. But it is an interesting parallel, and I think that's also probably why they weave their stories the way they did, because they both know what it's like to lose someone you love, and you want to lash out, you want to blame that person, you want to get revenge. She wanted revenge against Alice, but she kind of eventually let that go because it would mean losing herself. Because if she got so consumed with revenge, she would no longer be Batwoman. She would end up becoming just like Roman, wearing a mask of intimidation and fear and evil rather than the symbol of hope that Batwoman is, you know? So, but it did seem like he's like, well, I'm sorry, but you have to die because I can't let you be in my way. Goodbye, Batwoman. So for him, it's like, it's nothing personal, but you're a hero and I can't let you stop me. If you're not going to join me, which for Ryan, it's like, there's no way I'm going to help you do what you're going to do. So she tries to contact the team of like, right, we got to save her. I was almost curious the moment they handed her the Batsuit. I was curious whether or not Cersei was actually going to go through with it just to keep playing along with like, oh, I'm actually Kate. But it's like, no, she got what she wanted. Would have been interesting to see her like suit up and everything. But it's like, nah, actually. And then she tranks everyone. It's like, because like her and Sophie had just had that heart to heart. And so it's like, oh, reading Kate's hidden letter to her. And it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I'm glad, you know, because it's like, right, I shouldn't be throwing this all at once at you, but it's like, no, I'm glad, you know, it's like no more secrets between us and stuff like that. It's like, oh, the sad thing is she opened up to the wrong person. She didn't even get to, you like to believe like maybe Kate's somewhere on the inside, even though she's locked up, she's still kind of sadly aware of everything going on. So it's like, I know what Cersei's doing, but I need to stop her. But at the same time, it's like, I can't do anything, but I'm hearing these conversations. It's like, Sophie, Mary, Luke, can't you guys tell it's not me? But obviously when they wake up, they're trapped in the elevator, and it's like, right, we screwed the pooch on this situation. We were so desperate to get Kate back, and we basically gave her free reign of the place. Handed her the keys to the castle. At the same time, you had the whole situation with Ryan. Her her parole officer is being like, I can't believe you did this, because it's actually kind of, it's heartbreaking, but also sweet, because it shows you like, because her parole officer is so invested in her, which I think is so dope. It's like, because for some people it could just be like it's a job, but I think there are some people who do take their job seriously when they're in a profession of like, right, we're whether it be a parole officer or a teacher or whatever, who's someone who wants to do good in someone's life. And it's like, right, you were turning your life around, but you had to do this. It's like, it wasn't me, they're setting me up. And she's like, fine, and we're living in this delusion. It's like, why would they want to do that? Because I'm Batwoman. And it's like, okay, Ryan, why would I even, it's like, please believe me. Like, think about it. The fact of the matter is, how many people brought me in all for some empty snake bite vials? Like, would they really be going that hard just for some, like, low-grade dealer or something like that? Like, armed to the teeth like that? If I'm not out of here, they will kill me. And obviously, like, her parole officer wants to believe. It's like, you know what? I'm going to talk to the judge. When the cops try to pull out a gun, your girl Ryan, bam, bam, kicking some ass. And even, like, her parole officer being like, whoa. And it's like, she's like, thank you for helping, but not only that, she's like, thanks for believing me. And it's like, here, take this, Batwoman. It's like, yeah! But that also presents a really interesting thing that, like, your parole officer now knows the truth about you. I'm curious, like, what that can mean for the future, because it's like, well, she could always help you, so she could probably always push a little hard. Like, she'll probably help you in the future of, like, right, I'm going to make sure all this stuff, like, even though this just was you being set up, these charges are still going to be held against you, but because I know the truth of who you are, the good that you're doing in the world, you're Batwoman, I'm going to do my best to, like, overturn a lot of that and make it realize, like, oh, well, because she's a witness to, like, right, these cops try to not only kill me, but my parolee as well. So that'll probably go a long way, in helping that. But by the time Ryan shows up, she finds everybody locked up. So it's like, all right, I gotta do my way of gotta help you out. It's interesting to know that there's a crossbow there. I wonder, is that just? I'm like, who? Does anyone in the Bat family use a crossbow? Which is interesting. I mean, maybe it's just Batwoman's. I wonder does Batwoman use a crossbow in the comic books or not? There's an arsenal of tools that you never know what you're going to need, but it's just interesting to know, like, oh, you have like a crossbow. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen anyone in the Bat family use a crossbow before. I vaguely feel like I might have seen a Robin do that or something like that. Isn't there maybe some version of Robin? I was like, maybe that's a Red Hood thing too. I was like, he doesn't exist in this continuity. Because I know he goes down the more gun route, but I feel like a crossbow wouldn't be too out of the picture. I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably super overthinking it. But obviously, Ryan doesn't want to hurt Kate, because even though it's Cersei, it's still Kate's body. So that she's not fighting full force. And even when they're managed to escape from the elevator, none of them can actually, like, Sophie's got her dead to rights, but it's like, even just hurting her, it's like, you can't hurt the woman you love. And it's like, yeah. It's like, don't worry, don't feel too bad, Ryan. Even Kate couldn't beat me, and ends up bailing with everything she's got. We did see at one point in time there were different rooms she walked into. One of those rooms, I'm guessing that was like the meeting room. I'm assuming like Lucius, Bruce, Alfred, maybe Julia, depending if she was in the know at that time. Luke. Maybe that's where they met to like plan stuff out. I don't know. I'm sure like maybe people who are DC people would be like, oh my god, that room is this. I don't know. We even saw they hinted to something that I'm aware of. There's something that's coming up connected to Luke. If you know what I'm talking about, I won't talk. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that doesn't know. But there was kind of like a wink and a nod to like something hidden back there. They made sure to focus on. I was like, okay. I randomly stumbled across, like, because of the YouTube channels I watch and stuff like that. I watched trailers from a channel that like ended up posting a picture of something, and I'm like, I wish I didn't know what that was. I kind of wish I was completely blind to that. I don't know if that's something that's going to come up in the next episode, or whether that's just like season 3 plans they have. Could be setting the foundation for that, especially considering right now Ryan doesn't have the suit and they took all the weapons. So obviously it's like, right, they've got all the real bad stuff that Bruce like hid away here. Obviously it's like, Mary's like, no matter what, we'll find a way around this, right? But Ryan's like, I'm kind of scared as hell for Gotham, because there's no Batwoman to kind of save the day. But this might be one of those situations where they might be able to work around that, because it might be one of those inspiring moments of like, right, what Batwoman has done for Gotham gave them hope again, that maybe even if she's not there, maybe everyone can rally together and it'll be kind of like the entire city of Gotham coming together. Very similar to like Star City, especially like in the season 4 finale, like against Damien Dark and his people. Like something similar in that regard of like the city coming together. Maybe we'll see some, maybe not. We'll see. At the same time, like we get like the stinger at the end, which was really interesting, where we had Roman talking to Tavaroff, and it's like, oh, you've got Joker's plant. You also have some of Mud, Clayface's Mud, and also Killer Croc's Tooth. I was like, oh crap, that's interesting. So why'd you keep Killer Croc's Tooth? Maybe it's like for something like you reverse engineered something from it. And even him being like, why'd you do all this? And it's like, oh, because it's like for the sake of what was it he was saying? He was basically like, oh, we were going to need these. I was like, and he picks up the Venom and he looks at Tavaroff. I'm like, oh, is Tavaroff going to become like the new Bane or something? He's going to become the Venom and stuff. Like, right, you can be on the machine. So is he planning on handing that out to some of like his people so that they can run amok with all like these supervillain tools and stuff like that? I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, because a big part of this plan, the main thing they were after, I guess it's like Cersei decided to grab everything. Maybe that's the plan too, but it was mainly to get Poison Ivy's plant, because that's what Sophia wanted. Because by using a piece of that, they can use that to grow the Desert Rose rapidly, so they won't have to like slowly grow it out. Like we can just do it all at once. Benefit of there being like a well-versed plant villain, and all that she knows about plants kind of ends up, well, obviously it's all kind of put in the DNA of all those plants, so it kind of helps any future plant related things you need, you know, which you have Alice, you know, spreading Ocean's ashes in the ocean, and lo and behold, who rolls up? Sophia, paying her respects. It's like, really, it's interesting to pay respect for the brother you had killed. It's like, well, you took something away from me, so I had to do the same to you. But at the end of the day, let's end this war. It's like, yeah, you're ending the war by basically threatening me. It's like, no, I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm going to save you. Because that's the twisted thing. Regardless of everything, Sophia did everything because she was jealous, because she loves Alice. It's like, oh, you betrayed me, you want to steal from me. Because she also harbored hatred towards Ocean, because it's like, right, you stole the woman I loved away from me. Which, obviously, it's like, in many cases, she was responsible for stealing away not only Ocean, but her sister again. And it's like, and my memories of him, and you made me into the monster I am. So, like, obviously, she's not in a forgiving mood. But it's like, now she also finds out, like, oh yeah, your sister, she's not around. Cersei, she's willing to help me. I mean, I helped her get revenge. I had a sword struck through the man that hurt her, and the man who screwed her over, obviously blaming Jacob and the Crows. He's locked up, so he got locked up like she got locked up. So at the end, it's like, at the end of the day, you have no one. But once I rebuild Coriana, you'll be safe there. It's like, you know, because like now in her own weird way, Sophia's almost like, yeah, you'll be back with me. We'll be safe. We'll be able to build a life together. It's like, you're psychotically in love. Like, which, you know, that says a lot considering Alice and everything, but it is interesting. Like, she thinks like, oh, despite everything, we'll be good. Like, we'll put our issues aside. It's like, you have no family right now. It's like, you're right. You have no one. It's like, and she hugs her and it's like, like, it feels so good. But she's like, yeah, but I have no one because of you. And she stabs her with the Desert Rose. And it's like, you took my family away from me, but the fact of the matter is, I'll pull this out and come back to you once I've taken everything back. Which I love that. It's like, right, I'm gonna get my sister back, I'm gonna get my dad back, because she's already like, what Ocean already set things in motion to her becoming human again. And it's like, right, my dad accepted me, like, sees me for who I am, and like my sister, I can still get to her. I will get my sister back. I won't let you have her. So, and it's like, you're right, killing you would be easy, so I'm going to make you suffer, probably by destroying everything, probably making sure the last Desert Rose is gone and there's no bringing it back. It's like, by dismantling your plans and everything with Black Mass, I'm going to get my ultimate revenge against you. So this sets up some really interesting things about necessarily where Alice's story will potentially take her in the future, what happens with Jacob, obviously Cersei and Black Mask. Like, obviously they're on the winning side for now, but how this all ends up wrapping up next episode is going to be interesting. Next episode is the season finale, so it's really going to be interesting to see how this all comes to a close. What Alice's part is going to be and all of this as well. We'll have to wait and see. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.